everyone. Hello friends, it's Marianna and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome to today's video. So it's going to be a what I spent in a month video. I'm going to be breaking down everything that I spent in January of 2024. So it's my monthly what I spent video. As you may know, if you've been following me for a few months now, I post these every single month. As you can see, I'm in a very different setup than usual. I thought since I can't get a sunny day in the past few days, I was going to make a very cozy environment. So instead of being in like my white and blue room, I decided to be in my very warm toned living room because the vibe between our bedroom and the rest of the flat is quite different. Hopefully this feels quite cozy, and I'm wearing a sweatshirt as well to kind of go with the vibe. We're going to be starting with the fixed costs. First things first, we have my rent and bills, and that was £860.32. Then council tax is £85.50. My subscriptions this month was £28.64, and TFL charge was £224.70. Now the subscriptions do kind of change. I stopped paying for like the Pret coffee subscription this year, and I'll get into that a little bit later on because it's to do with my coffee out spending, which is a variable cost. Another thing I want to touch upon is the TFL. The TFL cost is a travel pass that I have for zones 1 through 4, which means I get unlimited travel on any TFL journey between zones 1 and 4. And to me, it's worth the price. I've explained over and over here that my work does reimburse me some of that money, not all of it, and it just ends up giving me peace of mind that I can tap in and out as many times as I want. Especially I find it really helpful if it's raining. I always walk to the station, but if it's raining, I like to take the bus. It's literally a 10-minute walk or a 5-minute bus ride to my nearest tube station, but those 10 minutes walking when it's raining can really affect me, especially if I have like my hair out or bags or anything. So I'm going a little rant here, I always do that, but essentially I really like to have the TFL travel card. So yes, I know it's pricey, but to me it makes sense. For my typical variable cost, that's the next category. First thing is groceries. That was $134.09. Then it was eating and going out, which was $158.28. I do like to put eating and going out together in one category because I don't go out pretty much at all. Like I did go out in January once, and that was because it was a friend's birthday party, but in general I don't really go out, so I just put it into one category, which makes it a little bit easier when I'm tracking. Next is takeaway, and that was 0. Then shopping and miscellaneous, which I put together now. I used to separate these two categories, but I found that a lot of the times the things that I'm going to buy are usually random. Like I don't go out shopping for clothes very often, and it kind of just makes sense to have these two categories together as well, because when I am setting out my budget for it, it's easy for me to set out a little bit of a larger amount for those two as one category than trying to separate like a certain amount for miscellaneous and a certain amount for shopping, because then I'll always like end up spending like more. I'm trying to explain this in a better way. So like when I'm doing my budget right every month, I have my categories, and I like set specific amounts for shopping or eating out, stuff like that. And I used to separate my shopping and my miscellaneous, and now I just put it together because I was usually either like over or under spending by a lot on those two categories, and because the things that I'm buying can kind of fit into either, I suppose it just makes sense for it to be one category. I hope that makes sense because I don't exactly know how to explain that any better. But shopping and miscellaneous was $85.92. Then pharmacy goods was $28.72. Coffee out, here's where I'm going to explain why I stopped the Pret subscription. So for me, the Pret subscription was really good. It was extremely convenient, but I won't lie, their coffee does not taste good. It's usually quite bitter or it's weak. I don't know what it is, but everything about Pret I really love. Like their food is great, their iced tea drink things like the coolers, their hot chocolate, their actual teas, like everything is delicious except for the coffee. So I don't know why that's the case, but it wasn't making sense for me to be paying for it anymore, because I was kind of like forcing myself to go there because I had a subscription and because I wanted caffeine, but I wasn't going there because I was going to enjoy the coffee, if that makes sense. Now I have had good Pret coffee before, but overall I've seen a huge decrease in the quality of the coffee, and the consistency just isn't there. It wasn't just worth it for me. So the reason why I stopped it was that, and also where I work, they've recently opened a Blank Street very close to me, and if you know Blank Street, I think they only have shops in New York or London, but their coffee is really good. And they do have a subscription called Blank Street Regulars, which at the moment in the UK you can only get through a referral link or by joining the waitlist. Fortunately, one of my coworkers had a referral link, so I was able to join a subscription there, and that's only gonna start charging me a week from now, which by then will already be February, so I haven't been charged for that yet, so it's not in this specific thing. But the reason why I went for the blank street regulars is because my coffee out spending for last month was £37.01. As you can see, I love Blank Street, but this was me like having to kind of hold back from going as often as I would want to go. So I was like, it just makes sense for me to get the subscription. It's £48 a month, which is very steep, definitely more expensive than Pret, but for me the quality of the coffee and their options of like coffee flavors is just way more worth it. That was my little spiel, I guess, on my coffee out and my subscription changes for this year. And last but not least, in my variable category is gifts that I spent $18.59 on. This doesn't necessarily mean like actual like birthday or gifts like that I give to people. It can just be like treating. So if I was to treat my boyfriend to something, that would be included under my gifts category. But those were all of my variable costs. And now we're moving on to the final category, which is my specific monthly purchases. These are things that I don't regularly spend money on, but that came out in this month. So for January, there was no traveling, so that was $0. And then my credit card statement was $755.35, and my phone insurance was $128. And that was all for my like specific purchases of this month. That's gonna bring us to the totals now, which is my favorite part of these videos. I'm gonna be breaking down the totals by category and then a grand total in the end. My fixed cost total was $1,199.16. My typical variable cost total was $462.61, and my monthly purchases total was $883.35. That brings us to a grand total of $2,545.12 for the month of January. As you can see, I spent a lot of money in January. I did not plan on keeping that same level of spending through the rest of the year, but we'll see how it goes. If you enjoyed today's video and you'd like to see more, don't forget to give a like and subscribe down below as well, because that would mean a lot to me, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!